the funny thing was...
He had a vision of the world that, you know, he really wanted peace and enlightenment for everyone.
I'll never forget, it was around 1975, I heard him say the communism in Russia will disappear and the Berlin Wall will come down. Something like that. And I went, oh, this guy is so nuts, you know. and it all just unfolded. It was weird, like 2 years later. And not that he had special powers. I don't want to present him in that way. And the other thing I liked about him was, you know, I was very concerned that this TM was like maybe like a Scientology, like a religion or something. And there was no religion
Well, that's
whatsoever.
what I think of when I hear it.
No, this was not a cult kind of thing. It was a technique. He said it's the same as brushing your teeth if you buy a toothbrush, maybe you could buy TM. It's a technique I can give you that will relax you and help you. There's you don't have to switch from being a Catholic or a Jew or, you know, you don't have to be into the Hindu religion.
You can even be a Scientologist.
Yeah, he is a religious guy. He was raised, he's a very spiritual man. But he never looked at people and said, you have to join the movement. You have to, you know, now you have to go out and join a religion.
What religion is he?
He was Hindu.
Hindu, right.
Yeah. But he didn't preach that, you know.
I don't know anything about Hinduism.
Right. So it's...
Did he become a wealthy guy off it, or was
no,
he...
I think his organization is, I would say, greatly underfunded. I don't think, you know, because they charge a one-time fee, it's like Vic Tanny went out of business. You know, it was like, you know, one-time fee, they should keep, like, most religions keep hitting you up for more and more money.
Right.
They were like, just learn TM, pay this, and then it's yours for life, and you can go to a TM center the rest of your life and get checked.
Well, if you know that if they're getting that kind of result with people, there's a million ways you could rip people off. If people see results like that, they can come up with a bullshit different book every year for them to buy.
Well, there are a lot of people who are very, very devoted to this, and I can see why.
But there are universities. I mean, there are a lot of things in his name that exist.
Right. Yes. Frosty, you're on the air in Long Island.
Yeah, Howard, I wanted to say that that meditation and prayer changed my life, too. My whole life I battled addiction with alcohol and drugs, and really helped me change my ways. Something artists should definitely look into.
Yeah, you know, my mom was at a real bad point, and, you know, my father, she wanted to end her own life. Sometimes she would say, I don't want to live. You know, her sister raised her. She didn't have a mother. She had a tough life. And my father would even come home from work and say, why don't you start drinking? Let's become alcoholics together.
That was a choice?
He said, we're so... my father doesn't really drink. He goes, because I'll do anything to help you. My father loved my mother.
So I'll go become a drunk with you.
And I would sit there with my mother at the table, and she would just cry. Every day, crying, and then going upstairs, and I'd say, is she going to hurt herself? Is she
going to make it?
And my whole high school was filled with that. And my high school years. And, you know, this change... And I remember going off to college feeling very unsettled. And this change that came over her was, I mean, you know her today. She's completely different. There's not a negative bone in her body.
But you know me from when you first met me to now, and I do attribute a lot of the changes in me to my practices.
Well, for someone from her generation to do something that radical,
she was very open. I always think that was incredible of her to take up TM.
Yes, it's a testament how desperate she might have been. You know, like it seems like a real like hippie '60s thing to do.
Well, my mother was always religious, and she said I never got comfort from my religion. She said this I got comfort from. This saved my life.
I actually did a TM weekend with your mother. Do you know that?
Yeah,
we spent a whole weekend together meditating.
Yeah.
And your sister.
Yes, my sister's big in it. And
where do you go do that? You go away for the weekend?
Yeah, they have weekends if you want to go do, but it's not mandatory.
That's not mandatory. That's something you can do if you want to. I always enjoyed those.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I might go this afternoon.
You know what? I'll tell you something else about it. Also, at a time in my life when I started out in radio, I didn't have a place to live. I had no money. I made $96 a week, and I went and lived with the people from TM in a monastery, actually, up in Armonk, New York. And it was one of the most profound, great experiences of my life, and fabulous, really. And you know,
nice environment to live in, I bet.
Yeah, it was really pretty spectacular to see, you know, to really be exposed to that over a long period of time.
Do you know anybody who tried it and just rejected it? It didn't work at all.
Well, no, not that it didn't work. It's a very funny thing with some people. Some people try it and they like it.
Yeah.
And they start to feel better, and they go, "I feel good. I don't need to do it." It's a very strange kind of thing. I've seen it happen to many people. Well, they go, I feel good.
A medication, like, you know, if you've got a mental illness and you take the medication, you're better, you convince yourself you don't need it, and you stop.
Yeah, but I've always stuck with it. And I'll tell you, one of the greatest things for me is after the show, I've told you my head rings after the show. I relate to that now. Yeah, I'm so tired that my ears actually hurt from the headphones afterwards. So I go to my office, and I close my eyes, and that's when I do my TM. And it's fantastic.
You do it before the show, too?
I do. Yes, like this morning I woke up early and did it. Right. So, you know, you do it twice a day.
How long does it take?
20 minutes.
Right.
And so, you know, I find I look forward to it. Like, although yesterday, my office they're doing some fucking wacky thing to the windows here in the building. They're busy hammering on top of my head. They're going to kill me.
They built scaffolding outside. They're caulking and re-caulking all the fucking... It's a major job.
2-year project. They got to stop it.
2 years?
Please don't caulk my windows. Leave my windows alone.
They hired a separate company just to build the scaffolding.
Yeah, I want to kill myself. I was going to open the window and push the guy off.
Somebody asked me what that scaffolding was about. Is it about caulking the window?
They have to re-caulk the window.
Yeah, caulk. Caulk.
They're re-caulking the window.
You know, somebody once said to me, well, gee, if you join TM, you want to do dick jokes, and, you know. And here's the thing, you do TM, if you're an Army general, it doesn't make you a pacifist. It makes you a better Army general.
You know what? I used to go to those weekends all the time, and people would say to me they couldn't believe that you were a TMer. And I used to say to them, well, think of what he would be like without it.
Yeah. But, you know, so I got to look the Maharishi in the eyes and say, thank you for saving my mother's life. And I am forever, ever indebted to the TM movement and this wonderful man who really lived in a cave for years with a man named Guru Dev, who was his teacher, who taught him this technique of doing meditation for the masses, almost to bring it like McDonald's to the masses, so it would be easy for people to do, to make it as simple as possible that anyone could do it.
So he didn't come up with it. This other guy taught him.
Guru Dev came up with it and said to the Maharishi, go to the United States and teach people. That is your mission in life. That is what I want you to do. Go to Europe, go to these countries that are westernized, and bring them this technique to bring about people who are relaxed and peaceful, and you can give them profound change. Because how do you make profound change, really? It's on the inner, deeper level, the most deep level, and that was his philosophy. And so the Maharishi came here, and the rest was history. And he has quite a following. But again, it's not a religion, and it's not something that you sit there like he's a deity, and it's really quite spectacular.
And that interview was on tape, Gary said? Video?
Yeah, the TM movement tape, they asked me to come down and interview the Maharishi, and I said that I would never do it on my regular show because I didn't want to be asking him questions.
It wasn't on your show?
No, I put it on Sunday morning on NBC. I asked them if I could do the public affairs show.
Oh, wow.
And they said yes. And it aired, my 2 interviews aired on NBC on Sundays. And I didn't, Gary might be right. Maybe they did videotape some of it.
I'd love to.
I don't think I've ever seen the video. I've heard the audio.
It was on one of those big discs. Remember they used to have those big giant discs?
They're like the records.
They look like records?
Yeah.
And I think only a portion of it was on there. So I don't even know. But yes, I was reverential because he saved my mother's life. And I'm a huge admirer of his. And I'm sorry to see that he's gone. It was really quite shocking to read. I thought he'd live forever.
But a simple man.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, even in his 90s, just very together and you could see his health was good. Right. He just died of old age, but his health was very, very good. He was he was with it. You don't see that with a lot of religious leaders and people who are supposedly in touch with the higher being.
Stress will kill you before anything, and if you can find a way, if you find a way to deal with that.
All right. Anyway, so there's my wrap on this great man, and rest in peace.
And he used to sit there in that little, cross-leg pose at 91. He could still, do all those yogi poses.
Yeah, the only guy who could do that is Fred. All right, he's like a yogi to me. All right, we have a lot of show to get to, and first I must take a break, so listen to these words.